not showing. There we go. By ODM Xiphos. So, ODM Xiphos, starting with his infantry, is going to be bringing a total of 5 Bleak Swords to the field of battle, one of them ranked up once. He's then going to have 3 Sisters of Slaughter right behind them. Now, making up almost a third line of infantry, we're going to have 4 Dread Spears, providing that anti-large buff to this army. Now we're going to have 2 Shades in the middle, both of them just the regular variant. Aside from that, up in the air, we will have 2 units of Harpies looking like they're perhaps here to help counter any deck dropper play or things like that. And then we're also going to be seeing... Oh, wait, just kidding. I thought I saw a hero in there, but I did not. But for the leadership, we're going to have a K-Knight Assassin here. This K-Knight Assassin will be bringing with him absolutely nothing by the looks of it, which is very interesting. We're also going to be seeing the Supreme Sorceress of Fire on foot. This Supreme Sorceress of Fire will be bringing Arnzapal's Black Horror, the Arcane Conduit, Burning Head, and Flaming Sword of Ruin with Kindle Flame for that fire debuff whenever she is casting. Now, going over here to take a look at our red player, we are going to be seeing Tutorial. Now, Tutorial is going to be bringing to the field of battle here 5 units of Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob. He's also going to have 2 units of Bombers, and then he's going to have what appears to be 2 units of Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob with pole arms. Aside from that, we are going to be seeing for the mobility deck droppers. So it looks like we've got 4 deck droppers total. He is then going to have some beefy depth guard here in the center to support that infantry line. He's going to have the Black Spot, his ROR Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob with handguns. And then he's going to have the ROR Morghuls, the Night Terrors. These guys do cause terror, have the Hunger trait, so they can regenerate that health. Now, other than these units, when I come over here, and it looks like we have 2 units of Scurvy Dogs Vanguard deployed for some shenanigans. And now onto the leadership, we are going to be seeing a Vampire Fleet Captain down here. Vampire Fleet Captain is going to have a Power Stone, the Drowned Dead, and Invocation of Nehek. Going to be on foot to keep her as cheap as possible. And then last but certainly not least, we have Luther Harkin up in the air atop his Terrorgeist. If I can get him selected, there we go. Going to have Hornswaggle as well as Deathstreak, and that's going to be it. All right, let's let them know we're ready. Good luck, have fun to both of these players. No game sound? Crap. Thank you, Toto. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I just want to make sure you have sounds. Alright, let me know if you have game sound now. But alas, here we come. Going to have the Vampire Coast approaching, getting some early skirmish shots off into these Bleak Swords. They do have Silver Shield, so they'll be able to negate about 55% of that incoming damage from these deck droppers. However, the Shades are coming to counter that movement, so we'll see what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and check for the game sound again and make sure things are okay in terms of sound. So please let me know if you guys can hear the game or not. So alas, there we go. The Dark Elves are going to begin pushing forward with their infantry. They do have a very significant infantry force on the field of battle right now. And with their Shades, they should be able to take care of a lot of this high armor depth guard unit and shoot down these Morghuls. However, we will see what Tutorial does to counteract this. And obviously each of these players, even if they lose this round, it is a double elimination tournament, so they get to go to loser's bracket and try to work their way back to the final. Alright, gonna fix the game sound after the battle. Ah, damn it. I was hoping we would have sound here. Alas, what you gonna do? So, in comes some fire from the zombie pirate gunnery mob and the black spot, shooting here into the Sisters of Slaughter, who are diving onto the zombie pirate mob, or deckhands. But now in comes some bombs on top of them too, and those bombs are causing a lot of damage. And oh my goodness gracious, look at them going down to about half health. Their lines being very, very disrupted. But here comes a burning head going right through those zombies, causing a touch of damage, but honestly not as much as I would have thought. But it's going to continue going forward. It looks like it may just get a little nice lick of damage here on top of these gunnery mob as well. However, those Sisters of Slaughter are very much worse for wear at this point. But in come the rest of the Dark Elf forces, and Arnsapal's Black Horror coming in, deleting that unit of zombie pirate gunnery mob. And now look at this, going through deleting that unit of zombie pirate gunnery mob. A beautiful cast of Arnsapal's Black Horror, and doing so much work. Looking up at a higher level view of the battle, it does look like the Dark Elves are starting to cleave their way through a lot of this Vampire Coast army. But here in the center, you do see a large portion of the Dark Elf front line getting routed. Over here, you see some Dark Elves duking it out with these Warhounds and Deck Droppers. The Shades taking a lot of damage, it appears, in that engagement. So coming back over here towards the central engagements, we're going to see a burning head go through here, dish out quite a lot of damage to the black spot, and in comes some Sisters of Slaughter just afterwards to follow up that very, very deadly spell cast. But right now, Balance of Power very much dead even. Sisters of Slaughter have their hands in the proverbial cookie jar and are just going to start cleaving their way through these units of handgunners and bombers. Over here, see the Night Terror Mongols are almost dead. They are very, very low on health. I'm going to have to assume there was some shade fire that came into play here. We got some more shades coming up. Meanwhile, over here, we are going to see that the Supreme Sources of Fire is taking a ton of damage and is no match for Luther Harkin. Luther Harkin just dishing out so much work on top of this Dark Elf leadership. And yeah, I have to say, the leadership not really having any melee potential is really hurting the Dark Elves right now, as that cheap Lord just got sniped off the field, and that's going to make the Balance of Power go in Tutorial's favor right now. More Dark Elf reinforcements coming over here trying to help out. But I have to say, with all of the Dark Elf leadership routing, including this K-Knight Assassin now, the Depth Guard still very, very healthy. The Night Terrors are chasing off these routing units. Yeah, it seems like the Dark Elves may be facing an uphill climb if they're going to claw their way back to victory here. In comes some Sisters of Slaughter and Bleak Swords diving into all this infantry. However, with the Depth Guard there and the Vampire Coast leadership, it's going to be a tough nut to crack. Coming back, it looks like we do see some rallies going down over here. So look at this. We have the Night Terrors going to be getting an Invocation of Nehek, but they are getting singled out by these Harpies. Will the Invocation of Nehek be enough to keep them around or not? It looks like it may be just enough to keep them alive. Terror going to kick in on those Harpies. And now we have Dread Spears coming in trying to support, while the Shades fire into these Night Terrors. Taking a higher level view, we do see Dark Elf starting to regroup around the battlefield. The K-Knight Assassin is back online, and it looks like these Mongols will be able to be dealt with by all this Dark Elf infantry. However, they'll want to do it sooner rather than later so they can start turning their attentions over here. It looks like they will be able to knock those guys out right now. And into the regrouping and late stage of the battle here, guys. Dark Elf's looking pretty thin, but so are the Vampire Coast. The Vampire Coast just has a Depth Guard, Vampire Fleet Captain, and Luther Harkin, but I think Luther Harkin alone is going to be enough to take out the remainder of this Dark Elf army. I just don't think the Shades, there's enough of them to really single him out, but dishing out some very nice damage to the Depth Guard on their approach, and we'll see what Xiphos can try to make happen here. Ooh. That Terror guy's going after the K-Knight Assassin, gobbling him up. Sisters of Slaughter diving into the depth guard, but yeah, I think the writing's on the wall at this point now. Just going to be really difficult to deal with Luther Harkin. I don't really see too much on the battlefield right now that is capable of taking him out. We have, what, 2 shades left? Xiphos doing some good prioritization here, recognizing that he needs to kill out these units first, not worry about Luther Harkin, because if he can kill all the ground units, then he has the lovely advantage of Luther Harkin having to be landed, because there is no other Vampire Coast forces on the field of battle right now. And look at this. The depth guard could get taken out right now by the combined efforts of these shades. So, yeah, it's pretty close. If he could take out these ground units, theoretically, I could see him requiring Luther to land and possibly taking him out. But I think even if Luther stays in combat on the ground right now, it'll just be too hard to take him out. And look at that, an Invocation of the Heck going down on top of the depth guard, and that may be the nail in the coffin, because these depth guard with that extra heal can have a second wind or and come in and just start cleaving through these dread spears to help out Luther Harkin in combat. I really like what Xiphos is doing here, though. He's keeping a lot of his units here on the periphery of the battlefield, recognizing that he needs every little bit of the balance of power to help him out here. If he sends in any more units and they get a terror out, it's very likely he'll suffer army losses and shatter here. Shades continuing to do their best to snipe down these depth guard. This Harpy unit in reserve looks like it's actually going to be sent down maybe on top of Luther Harkin. Wasn't quite sure which direction they were going to go with that, but a nice charge from these Harpies followed up by some Bleak Swords. These Harpies and Dread Spears are on top of Luther Harkin right now, and that's actually a combination Luther Harkin doesn't necessarily want to be in combat with. Why? It's bonus versus large and a unit that can help pin him in place for that bonus versus large unit. So we will see if Luther Harkin remains on the ground or not, but it does look like he's in a regroup over here. Depth guard are on their last leg, only 2 models left, and these depth guard may be about to be deleted. There they go, but alas, probably going to be too little too late, as there's no more shades on the field of battle to help out Xiphos in this leadership engagement. Looks like the Harpies and Dread Spears are going to continue chasing Luther Harkin, but I would love to see them take out this Vampire Fleet Captain right now, but the balance of power is just getting further and further out of hand, and I don't know if these Harpies and Spears are going to have leadership hold up to the Terror for much longer. There goes the Terror route, army losses kicking in, and a great game to both players, but Tutorial going to be taking that first round. All right. Oh, sound is working now? Good, good. Sound is fine. Yay! Couldn't hear sound. All right, gotcha. Hey, Erasmus, thank you very much. Clutch Invocation. Yeah, definitely bought him a ton of time, Gray Power Van. Yeah, Luther was just too tough there in the end. But, I mean, look at the kills here. I mean, Xiphos clearly doing a good job. Like, his Supreme Sorceress died, but not before she got 219 kills. That was all because of those burning heads and that one really beautiful Arnsapal's Black Horror that we watched. Also, look at the Sisters of Slaughter doing really good work, and I loved his pick of the Harpies. His Harpies were one of the key units there in the late game, and I think if his Shades would have been kept healthier, he could have had that, but I missed it due to my own poor casting there. I didn't see exactly what got all the damage down on the Shades. I'm going to imagine it was these Scurvy Dogs and Deck Droppers. But yeah, looking at Tutorial's RB2, 256 kills on the depth guard. Just a single unit of depth guard. So much value by bringing that. So I absolutely love that pick from him and how efficient he was able to use it. And one thing you'll notice here is like he was using Invocation of the Heck very sparingly, not overcasting it, only using it for the Night Terrors, the depth guard, and Luther Harkin, it seemed. So really good picks there. And really good plays, but yeah, Xiphos just not able to chew through the chaff as quickly as I think he wanted to, and in the end, I think what spelled disaster for him is just that the leadership squad here for the Vampire Coast pretty much didn't have too much of a worry in diving down and sniping out the Dark Elf leadership. I think if the Shades were closer to the leader, maybe. But then again, Xiphos is a much, much better player than me, so I trust his judgment.